The following matchup is being played with History Maker Baseball Express, a fast-playing baseball simulation board game, a property of Play Games LLC, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. Welcome to today's episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. In today's episode, man oh man, do we have a good treat for you on hand, as we are going to be reliving the 2019 Fall Classic that featured Juan Soto and the 2019 Washington Nationals taking on Jose Altuve and the 2019 Houston Astros. Who will come on top of this matchup? I guess you're going to have to tune in to find out for yourself, because first pitch for game one is just around the corner. But before we get to that, let's have a little look and say thank you to our official Play Game sponsors for sponsoring today's episode of World Series Rewind as part of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. We would like to take this time to say thank you to our official Play Game sponsors for sponsoring today's episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. First and foremost, thank you to Biddy Beer for sponsoring every mid-game and end-of-game summary throughout every episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. And again, we remind you, if you choose to drink Biddy Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a Biddy price. It's Biddy Beer. They say it's a blend of hops, rice, and barley that gives Biddy Beer its distinctive taste, but we know better. It's our brewing process that gives our beer that one-of-a-kind flavor that no premium beer can match. Our bats have never been cleaned, so there's an itty-bitty bit of history in every can. Biddy Beer, the beer for folks who can't afford better. And by Doc Cola, the official cola drink of the Play Games community. And every game that we go to extra innings, it is a Doc Cola extra innings ball game. Doc Cola uses the finest imitation ingredients to bring you that sugary blast of caffeine you've come to know and love. With twice the sugar and 3 times the caffeine of any other major brand, Doc Cola is sure to keep you wired from dawn till dusk. So take the Doc Cola challenge and see why our customers agree. You'll never be able to wean yourself from a refreshing Doc Cola. And by Pizza Kingdom. At Pizza Kingdom, our signature New York style pizza starts with the crust. Then we layer on a homemade pizza sauce, and then load your pizza up with mounds of cheese. When it comes out of the oven, it's piping hot, golden brown, and ready for you to enjoy. And then we give that majestic culinary work of art to Mickey, our 16-year-old delivery driver who's as responsible as a tree stump. Pizza Kingdom, it's sheer perfection when it left the store. And by Suncoast Capital. At Suncoast, we live by one simple rule of investing. When your clients win, we win. And when our clients lose, we win, sort of. Suncoast Capital. You know we're gonna get all of your money anyway. And by Rubicon Wireless. Why pay $200 a month for wireless service when you can get 4 lines for just $25 a month? With our tin can plan, you can access our wireless network that covers at least 25% coast to coast between the hours 11 p.m. and 4:30 a.m. with unlimited text and messaging between those hours, of course. So why pay for a service you cannot live without? Hey, we're just about set to get underway for game one of this episode of World Series Rewind, as we are featuring the 2019 Fall Classic that featured the Houston Astros and the Washington Nationals. Your game one probable starters are as follows. Max Scherzer will be on the hill for the Washington Nationals, as he has star, double flash, and double control, while he will be opposed by Garrett Cole, who has semi-ace, double flash, and control. Lineups are out on screen as all three of these games are in this episode of the World Series Rewind for the History Maker Baseball Express Hour is being played with History Maker Baseball Express. If you would like to know how to get a copy of the game, I left the link down below in the description so that way you can check out the game plus other products that Keith Avalone sells. With that being said, let's get game one underway for this episode of World Series Rewind as George Springer's ready to go, and so is Max Scherzer. Let's get to it from our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. We'll begin game one with a 1-4-5. Ace or dynamic on Scherzer. He's not. Sad sack on Springer. Nope. That's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. Max Scherzer has double flash, and that is more than enough to get a no runs result of a 5 dot on the scorecard. And with that being said, after a half inning of play, it's Astros nothing, and the Nationals are coming to bat in the bottom half of the first inning. 2-2-5. 2-2-5. Here we are. Ace on Cole. He's a semi-ace. The decider die says yes, he is. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 2 dot, and that will seal up the deal for the first inning of play. And after one inning of play from our nation's capital, we have no score. 1-2-2. Struggler on Scherzer. No way. Champ on Altuve. Nope. That'll be a no runs result of a 1 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first inning and a half of this ball game. Here for game one of this episode of World Series Rewind, the Astros and Nationals are all deadlocked at 0-0 apiece. 1-1-3. Struggler on Cole. No way. Utility on Eaton. Nope. It's going to be an RBI question mark check. And folks, the Nationals are going to get on the board thanks to an RBI by Adam Eaton as the Nationals do lead 1-0 thanks to the decider die showing dot for an RBI question mark result. As after 2 innings of play, the Nationals jump out in front of the Astros 1-0 after 2 innings of play. 1-2-2. Struggler on Scherzer. Nope. Champ on Brantley. Nope. That's going to be a 1-2-2. Struggler on Scherzer. No. Champ on. No. I read that correctly. So it'll be a no runs result of a 1 dot. And that's going to seal up the deal for the Astros top half of the third. We go to the Nats half of the third inning with the Nationals in front of the Astros 1-0. 1-4-5. Ace or dynamic on Cole. He's a semi-ace pitcher, but the decider die says he's not. Sat sack on Rendon. Nope. That's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. Garrett Cole has double flash, so that 4 will be reduced to a 2, putting Rendon on at second base for Juan Soto to hit off the men on base chart. We have a 22 batting at home. You better believe it, the Nationals are the home team for game one of this episode of World Series Rewind. So therefore, it's going to be a single. Runners advance 1 base. It's runners at the corners. As Rendon will sneak over to third. And we continue to roll on the men on base chart for Asdrubal Cabrera. Oh, we got a 12. Slugger hits home run. Asdrubal Cabrera is a slugger. Therefore, that ball is not coming back, folks. It is gone. As Asdrubal Cabrera hits a 3-run jack, and the Nationals now lead the Astros 4-0 as we continue to roll off of the men on base chart for Ryan Zimmerman. 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. And again, when I do freshness as 3 full fresh, 3 semi-fresh. Since we're still in the freshness innings, Garrett Cole is considered fresh. So therefore, he will get the ground out, but not before damage was done, thanks to an Asdrubal Cabrera 3-run jack as the Nationals lead the Astros after 3 innings of play by the score of 4-0. 1-1-2. Ace on Scherzer. So far, he's pitching like one, but unfortunately, he does not have it printed on his card. Sad sack on Bregman. Nope, that's going to be an RBI question mark result. And folks, Bregman's going to get the Astros on the board thanks to an RBI, as it is now 4-1, still in favor of the Washington Nationals. Here at the end of 3.5 innings, the Nats still lead the Astros 4-1. 256. 256. Here we are. Workman on Cole. He's not a workman. Sad sack on Kurt Suzuki. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die. If flash, Garrett Cole has double flash, and that is more than enough to get himself a no runs result of a 6 blank. Workman, no. Sad sack, no. Yes, the Saturday was not used. So therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 6 blank as after 4 innings of play here at Nats Park in our nation's capital of Washington, D.C. It's the Nationals leading the Astros here in game 1 of this episode of World Series Rewind by the score of 4-1. 1-3-4. Ace on Scherzer. Champ on Correa. Nope. It'll be a no runs result of a 3-dot, and that is going to seal up the deal for the first 4.5 innings here at Nats Park, with your score remaining 4-1 in favor of the 2019 Washington Nationals. 1-2-3. Workman or Struggler on Cole. Nope and no. Champ on Robles. Nope. It'll be a no runs result of a 1 blank, and that is going to do it for the first 5 innings here at Nats Park. Your score remains 4-1 in favor of the 2019 Washington Nationals through 5 innings of play. 166. 166. Here we are. Ace on Scherzer. Nope. Sad sack on Gurriel. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Yuli Gurriel is a semi-stoic runner. The decider die was not used. Ace, no. Sad sack, no. Yes, decider die was not used. So therefore, that is going. He is a stoic runner. So therefore, from 6 to a 5, that'll place the runners on at second and third for Robinson Chirinos, the catcher for this ball game, as we will roll off the men on base chart for his hacks with a 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. We're in the semi-freshest innings, and I usually go by the decider die as dot he's fresh, blank he's not. So since the decider die is showing dot, Max Scherzer is considered fresh. So therefore, he will get the ground out to keep the Astros at bay as they threaten but do not score here in the 6th inning. It's still 4-1 Nationals as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. 256. 256. 256. Here we are. Workman on Cole. Nope. Sad sack on Turner. Nope. That's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die. If flash, Garrett Cole has double flash from 6 to a 4, putting runners at the corners for Adam Eaton. He'll take his hacks off the men on base chart with a 16. Good eye. No, Adam Eaton does not have a good eye. So therefore, that's going to be a strikeout to keep this game at a reasonable score of a 4-1 lead for the Washington Nationals as we head to the 7th inning here at Nats Park by that score. 235. 235. 5, 2, 3, 5. Here we are. Star on Scherzer. You better believe it. He is a star. So therefore, that is going to be a no runs result of a 3 blank. And it's time to stretch here at Nats Park. And while these fine folks sing a good rendition of God Bless America, along with Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Garrett Cole is trotting his way back out to the mound. We'll see what he comes up with in the bottom half of the seventh with the score Nationals 4 and the Astros 1. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Here we are. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, we're way past the freshest innings now, so therefore he is considered not fresh. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Rendon is a semi-stoic runner. The decider die was not used, so therefore he is not a stoic runner. Yeah, yep, we're way past the freshest innings. I remembered. So therefore, uh, the the 5 will be reduced to actually pitcher not fresh, Garrett Cole. Yes, we're way past the freshest inning, so therefore he's not stoic. That 5 is going to remain putting runners on its second and third for Juan Soto. He'll take his hacks off the men on base chart with a 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. This time the decider die shows dot, and it comes through again for Garrett Cole. That's going to do it for the seventh inning. Here at Nats Park, we go to the eighth, but we do see a new pitcher trotting in for the bullpen for the Washington Nationals. We'll see who that is after we take this really quick timeout. And we're back here at Nats Park with the new pitcher on the hill, as Daniel Hudson will be on the mound for the Washington Nationals, as he has ace, star, flash, and double control. For this at bat against George Springer, Daniel Hudson will not be getting any qualities. Ooh, excuse me. So with that being said, we're on to the eighth with with the score Nats 4 and the Astros 1. 255. Struggler on Hudson. No. Utility on Springer. Nope. That's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die. If flash, Daniel Hudson has flash. So from 5 to a 4, that'll put runners at the corners for Jose Altuve. Where's the buzzer? We go to the men on base shot with a 33. Scrapper hits single. Jose Altuve's not a scrapper, so therefore that's going to be a bases clearing triple to bring the game to a 1-run contest, as it's 4-3, thanks to an Altuve triple. As Michael Brantley will be up at the dish now, off the men on base chart with a 23. Eager grounds out. Michael Brantley is not an eager batter. That is going to be a walk. So therefore, it's first and third, as that is going to bring up Alex Bregman to the dish off the men on base chart. Yes, off the men on base chart with a 14. Scrapper hits single. No, Alex Bregman is not a scrapper. Therefore, the Astros are going to take the lead here thanks to an RBI double, scoring 2 runs, as they now take a 5-4 lead here in game 1 of this episode of World Series Rewind. They are now on the cusp of winning this game here, as we go to Carlos Correa now off the men on base chart with a 56. Patient draws the walk. Correa's not patient, so therefore it's a contact result, and I usually roll the red die for my contact chart results. It's a 4. Champer hero on Correa. He's a semi-hero. Oh, the decider die says yes, sir. That is going to be that's going to be an RBI for Carlos Correa, and that will do it for the top half of the eighth. But the Astros jump out in front for a lead of 6-4 over the Washington Nationals. We do see a new pitcher trotting in for the bullpen for the Houston Astros. We'll see who that is after we take this really quick timeout. And we are back here at Nats Park with a new pitcher out on the hill, as Roberto Osuna will be on the hill for the Houston Astros as he has semi-ace, flash, and double control. For the at-bat of Asdrubal Cabrera, Roberto Osuna will have the full extent use of the double flash quality. With that being said, the Nationals need to try to tie up this game. They need 2 runs to do so, and 3 to take the lead to the bottom half, or excuse me, to the top half of the ninth, as we continue on with Game 1 of this episode of World Series Rewind with your score: Astros 6, Nationals 4. 3-4-6. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, Ozuna is the bullpen hero arm, so therefore he is considered fresh for the remainder of the contest. Hero on Asdrubal Cabrera. Oh, he is a hero, so therefore it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Asdrubal Cabrera is a stoic runner. That's a start because from bases loaded to second and third, that is going to bring up Ryan Zimmerman off the men on base chart with a chance to take the lead here. He gets a 35 control pitcher. Oh, Roberto Osuna is a control pitcher, so therefore that is going to be a ground out to end the 8th inning here at Nats Park. The Nats threaten but do not score here in their half of the 8th. We go to the 9th. We go to the 9th with your score: Astros 6, Nationals 4. 116. Struggler on Hudson. He's not. Utility on Gurriel. No. That's going to be an RBI question mark result. And folks, man, oh man, the Astros may have put some insurance runs on the board here. With that being said, the black die is a 6. The decider die is showing dot. And whenever an RBI question mark result comes up, if the black die shows 6 and the decider die shows dot, it's not only 1 RBI, it's 2 RBIs. So therefore, the Astros are going to take an 8-4 lead over the Nationals heading to the bottom of the 9th. Last call for the Nationals here in Game 1 of this episode of World Series Rewind as we roll on to the bottom of the 9th. 1-2-3. Workman or Struggler on Osuna? No. Champ on Suzuki? He's not. That is going to do it for Game 1, as there will be a no runs result of a 2 dot. And that is that. Your final score here for Game 1 of this episode of World Series Rewind. The Astros come from behind, down 4-1, to beat the Nationals by the final score of 8-4. And without further delay, we're getting ready to go for Game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind, as we are from the then Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, for Game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind. Your pitching probables are as follows: Justin Verlander will be on the hill for the Astros, as he has semi-ace, double flash, and double control, while Patrick Corbin will be opposing him, as he has semi-star, flash, and semi-control. With that being said, Victor Robles is ready to lead things off for the Washington Nationals. Justin Verlander is ready to go for the Astros, and we're ready to go for Game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind. We have a 2-5-6. Workman on Verlander. No. Sadsack on Robles. He's not. That's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. JV has double flash, so from 5 to a 3, they're not going to play the trump card yet, but they will place the runner safely on at first and second for Trey Turner off the men on base chart. We have a 25. Iron fielder commits the error. Robinson Chirinos is not an iron fielder, so therefore that is going to be a ground out to end the top half of the first, as the Nats threaten but do not score here in their half of the first. It's Nats nothing, and the Astros are coming to bat in their half of the first inning. 2-3-4. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, we're in the full freshest inning, so Patrick Corbin is considered fresh. Sad sack on Reddick. He's not. Therefore, it will be a men on base result, -1 for the black die. If control, Patrick Corbin has semi control, but the decider die says he does not have it. So, therefore, that 4 is going to stay put, putting the runners at the corners for George Springer. He'll take his hacks off the men on base chart with an 11. Batting team harmony or pitching team to sonnet. Again, no team throughout the inaugural season of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour will be taking full advantage of who's hot and who's cold, or who's harmonious or who's dissonant, or if they suck or if they were cheating. So, with that being said, that is going to be a ground out to end the first inning here at Minute Maid Park with your score all evened up at a big fat goose egg here for game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind between the Nationals and the Astros. We have a 2-2-4. 2-2-4. Here we are. Ace on Verlander. He's a semi-ace. The decider die says yes, he is. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 2 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first inning and a half of game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind with your score: Nationals nothing and the Astros nothing. 1-3-6. Ace on Corbin. He's not. Hero on Altuve. He's a semi-hero. The decider die says he is not. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. The black die is not a 6. However, Altuve has semi-home run king. The decider die says he does not have it. So therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 3 dot, and that is going to end the first 2 innings here at Minute Maid Park. So far, so good if you're the Nationals, but if you're the Astros, you got to take advantage. But again, it's still anybody's game as we head to the 3rd inning here at Minute Maid Park for game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind with the Nationals and Astros all tied up at 0-0. 1-1-2. Ace on Verlander. He's a semi-ace. The decider die says yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 1 dot, and that will seal up the deal for the first 2 innings and a half of this ball of game 2 for this episode of World Series Rewind with your score all even up at a big fat goose egg. 1-2-3. Workman or struggler on Corbin. He's not. Champ on Brantley. He's not. That's going to be a no runs result. The first, shall I say, clean 1-2-3, maybe possibly inning. But it is what it is, as it will be a no runs result of a 2 dot. As we head to the 4th, your score remains 0-0, but it's still anybody's game between the Nationals and the Astros for game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind. 1-1-3. Struggler on Verlander. He's not. Utility on Juan Soto. No way. That's going to be a 1-1-3. Yep. It's going to be an RBI question mark result. And folks, the Nationals, just like in game 1, is going to jump out to the early 1-0 lead thanks to an RBI from Juan Soto. The Nats take a 1-0 lead into the bottom half of the 4th and we go by that score. We head there right now. 3-5-6. Workman on Corbin. He's not. Champ on Bregman. Nope. It'll be 3-5-6. Yep, a no runs result with a possibility of a solo home run. The black die is a 6. Bregman has home run king. He just tied up the game thanks to a solo shot. Uh, Thanks to a solo home run, as we're all dead even at 1. Who's gonna blink first in game 2 as the Nats are looking to tie the series, heading back to Nats Park, but the Astros are looking to to win this series right now and hopefully get a chance for a sweep back at Nats Park. With that being said, we head to the 5th by the score of a score of Nationals 1, Astros 1. 2-3-3. Ace on Verlander. He is a semi-ace, and the decider dice says yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 3 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first 4.5 innings here at Minute Maid Park. Your score remains deadlocked at 1 between the Nationals and the Astros. 1-2-6. 1-2-6. Here we are. Struggler or Gilded on Corbin. He's not. Hero on Yordan Alvarez. Nope. It'll be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. Yordan Alvarez has semi slugger. In this case, the decider dice says he doesn't, but he does have home run king. The Astros are going to take a 2-1 lead thanks to an Yordan Alvarez solo home run. Oh man, if you are the Nationals, yeesh, this is not looking good as the Astros are looking to cheat their way to getting the World Series crown right back and hopefully to enact some revenge from 2019. We head to the 6th with your score, Astros 2, Nationals 1. 1-3-4. Ace on Verlander. He's a semi-ace. Man, oh man, how many innings is that? Like straight innings. Just to get the ace, just to get the dot showing up for ace. Unbelievable. So with that being said, that's going to be a no runs result of a 3 dot, and that is going to end the top half of the 6 as the Nationals are being stymied here by Justin Verlander as the Astros take hold of this one of this game for game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind by the score of 2-1. 2-4-5. 2-4-5. Struggler on Corbin. No. Sack on Correa. Nope. That's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash or control. Patrick Corbin has has flash, so that 2 will be reduced to 1, but he does not have control according to the decider die. So therefore, it's better than nothing. So with that being said, we go to the men on base chart with a runner on at first base for Yuli Gurriel. 26, home run king, it's home run. Yuli Gurriel is a semi-home run king. The decider dice says yes, he does. There she goes, folks. It is hit high, far, and gone. The Astros take a 4-1 lead over the Astros. Or excuse me. The Astros take a 4-1 lead over the Nationals as we continue to roll on the men on base chart. And we do see the bullpens going to work for the Nationals really quickly out there in the garage portion in left field. 13, pressure relief pitcher gets the pop out. We're still in the semi-freshest innings, and Patrick Corbin is still considered not fresh. Therefore, it's going to be a double, and that is going to do it for and the Nats manager says that's going to do it for my guy. As we will hold right here, as it is now Astros 4, Nationals 6. Astros 4, Nationals 1. As we head to the 7th inning here at the then Minute Maid Park. 1-5-6. Ace on Verlander. He is a semi-ace, and again, My God, when will blank show up? Unbelievable. So with that being said, that is going to be a no runs result of a one dot, and that is going to take us to the stretch. But while these fine folks sing a good rendition of God Bless America, along with Take Me Out to the Ball Game, we do see a new pitcher trotting in for the bullpen. We'll see who that is after we take this really quick timeout. And we're back here at Minute Maid Park with a new pitcher out on the hill as Fernando Rodney will be on the hill for the Nationals as he has Flash credited to his name for this at bat against Josh Reddick. Fernando Rodney will have the full extent use of the star quality. With that being said, we resume action here in the bottom half of the seventh with your score: Astros 4, Nationals 1. As here for game 2 for this episode of World Series Rewind. 1-2-5. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, Rodney is the bullpen hero arm, so therefore he is considered fresh for the remainder of the contest. Champ on Reddick. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 2 dot, and that is going to seal the deal for the first 7 innings here at Minute Maid Park with your score: Astros 4, Nationals 1. 4-5-5. Workman on Verlander. No. Utility on Gomes. He is a utility batter. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 4 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first 7.5 here at the then Minute Maid Park with your score remaining: Astros 4, Nationals 1. 2-3-6. Struggler or gilded on Rodney. He's not. Sad sack on Springer. Nope. It'll be an RBI question mark result. And unfortunately, the decider die says no. So therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 2 blank. And that will seal up the deal for the first 8 innings of this one. Last call for the Nationals. Victor Robles will lead things off against Justin Verlander, who's going for the complete game. 1-4-6. Ace or dynamic on Verlander. He's a semi-ace. The decider die says yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 4 blank, and that is that. The final score here for game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind. The Astros jump out, or excuse me, yes, the Astros jump for 2 back-to-back home runs for Bregman and Alvarez as they take game 2 and this episode of World Series Rewind, but they will be looking for the sweep back at Nats Park by the final for game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind. With that being said, stay tuned for game 3 as we head back to our nation's capital. But while we do so, let's have a little look and let's have a little look at our post-game summary presented by your favorite Biddy Beer products. And again, we remind you, if you choose to drink Biddy Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste. At a Biddy price, it's Biddy Beer. Once again, the final score here for Game 2 of this episode of World Series Rewind: Justin Verlander goes the distance as Alex Bregman and Yordan Alvarez both made sure that the Astros maintained a good amount of a lead here as they beat the Nationals here in game 2 by the final score of 4-1. Even though the Astros have beaten the Nationals here in this episode of World Series Rewind, the Astros are going for the sweep here of the Washington Nationals here for game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind as we are back at Nats Park here for Game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind. Your pitching probables are as follows. Anibal Sanchez will be on the hill for the Nationals as he has flash and semi-control, while Zach Greinke is on the hill for the Astros as he has star, flash, and double control. With that being said, Altuve is ready to lead things off against Anibal Sanchez for Game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind. Will there be a sweep? Let's find out right now, and let's play ball. 2-2-4. Ace on Sanchez. He's not. Utility on Altuve. Nope. It'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die. If control, Anibal Sanchez has semi-control, and the decider die says, yep, yes, he does. So therefore, that 2 will be reduced to a 1, putting Altuve on at first base for Michael Brantley. He'll take his hacks off the men on base chart with a 15. Scrapper hits double. Brantley is not a scrapper, so therefore that is going to be hit high, far, and gone. Sorry about that. The Astros take a 2-0 lead over the Washington Nationals after a half inning of play. It's Trey Turner's turn up at the dish against Zach Greinke on the mound for the Astros. 2-3-5. Star on Greinke. You better believe it. He has star. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result. This is for the bottom half of the first. There we are. 2-3-5 again. Star. Yes on Greinke. That is going to be a no runs result of a 3 blank. That is going to seal up the deal for the first inning of play with the Astros in front of the Nationals 2-0. 1-2-2. Struggler on Sanchez. Nope. Champ on Bregman. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 2 blank. Good start. Good bounce back inning after giving up the 2-run home run to Alex Bregman, or excuse me, to Michael Brantley, I should say. And with that being said, we head to the bottom half of the inning with your score remaining: Astros 2, Nationals nothing. 1-2-5. Pitcher not fresh. Well, Greinke is still considered fresh because we're still in the full freshness innings. Champ on Eaton. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 1 dot, and that is going to end the first 2 innings here at Nats Park in our nation's capital of Washington, D.C. with your score: Astros 2, Nationals nothing. 1-3-6. Ace on Sanchez. Nope. Champ. Oh, excuse me. Hero on Correa. He's a semi-hero. The decider die says he's not. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. Even though the black die is not a 6, Carlos Correa has a full home run king. So therefore, he is going to pat onto the Astros lead with a solo home run by a courtesy from Carlos Correa as the Astros jump out in front to a 3-0 lead, as we do see the bullpens going for the Nationals. But Sanchez wants to hang in there, and I don't know if he can with this bombardment by the Astros as they now lead it 3-0 as we head to the bottom half of the third inning. 1-1-3. Struggler, Struggler on Greinke. He's not a struggler. Utility on Rendon. He's not. That's going to be an RBI question mark result. And unfortunately, the decider die says no. So therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 3 blank. And that is going to end the first 3 innings here at Nats Park. It's all Astros as they look for the sweep with your score: Astros 3, Nationals nothing. 2-3-5. 2-3-5. Star on Sanchez. He's not. Sad sack on Gurriel. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. Sanchez has full flash, so 3 to a 2. That'll place the runner on at second base for Robinson Chirinos, the catcher for all 3 games so far here in this episode of World Series Rewind. With that being said, he's up at the dish off the men on base chart with a 55. Batting team harmony or pitching team batting team dissonant or pitching team harmonious. And again, no team throughout the inaugural season of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour is going to be taking full advantage of who's hot and who's cold, or who's dissonant, or who's harmonious or not. So therefore, it will be a single scoring the run from second. Therefore, Chirinos will trot his way down to first base with an RBI single. And folks, I think that's probably going to be it for Anibal Sanchez, as his manager tried to tell him, hey, if you go out there one more inning and if they score a run, you're probably going to be in trouble. And that's exactly what they did. So they are going to go to the pen, and we will go back to the main chart for the next roll for Josh Reddick. And while we see who's coming out of the pen for the Nationals, we'll take this really quick timeout. We're back here at Nats Park with the new pitcher out on the hill, as Sean Doolittle, the closer for the Nationals. They didn't want to do it, but they had to do what they had to do. So with that being said, Sean Doolittle will be on the hill for the Nationals, as he has flash and control credited to his name for this at-bat against Josh Reddick off the main chart. Sean Doolittle will have the full extent use of the semi-ace quality. A little word of thought here. If we get a men on base result, it doesn't matter if it's -1 from the black die if flash control, or if both flash control, or a base running adjustment. It will be considered an RBI for Josh Reddick. It will reset the stage for a new men on base chart result. If it's a no runs result, with possibility of a solo home run, or without a possibility of a solo home run, it will be considered an out. So with that being said, we go back on the main chart for the at-bat of Josh Reddick with a 3.46. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, Doolittle is considered the fresh pitcher, as he is the bullpen hero arm. Hero batter on Reddick. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result, and that will be considered an out, and will make it to be a fly out. With that being said, good job by the Nationals manager to go to his pen when his pitcher was down and out. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, it's Astros 4, Nationals nothing. 3.46. Pitcher not fresh on Greinke. No, technically we're in the semi-freshest innings. I forgot about that. With that being said, the decider die shows blank, which means he is not fresh. Therefore, it's going to be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Juan Soto is the current batter. He is a neutral runner. Runners at the corners now, as we bring up Asdrubal Cabrera off the men on base chart. With a 24, Gold Fielder makes the out. George Springer is a goal fielder. He makes an ESPN Sports Center highlight reel catch out in the outfield to keep the Nationals at bay, as Cabrera is like unfrigging believable. With that being said, we head to the fifth with your score: Astros 4, Nationals nothing. 115. Struggler on Doolittle. Nope. Utility on Altuve. Nope. It'll be a men on base result, -1 for the black die if flash. Sean Doolittle has flash, so therefore that'll be a no runs result of a 1 dot. And that will seal up the deal for the first 4.5 innings here at Nats Park for Game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind, with your score: Astros 4, Nationals nothing. Cabrera already batted. Which we are on Ryan Zimmerman now with a 2.66. Star on Greinke. You better believe it. He is a star. So therefore, that is going to be a no runs result of a 2-. That is going to seal up the deal for the first 5 innings here at Nats Park with your score Astros 4 and the Nationals nothing. 335. Struggler on Doolittle. Nope. Champ on Brantley. He's not. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 3 blank. So far, so good with the move to the pen early is paying off for the Nationals as they are trying to keep the score right here without having a chance to blow everything up. As it's now it's still 4-0 in favor of the Astros as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. 146. Ace or dynamic on Greinke. He's not so far. He's pitching like one, but unfortunately, Zach does not have ace. 146. Here we are. Sad sack on Kurt Suzuki. Get out of here. No way. That is going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if control. Zach Greinke has double control, and that is more than enough to get the no runs result of a 6 dot, and that will seal up the deal for the first 6 innings of play here for Game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind with your score Astros 4 and the Nationals nothing. Time is running out for the Nats to hopefully retain their improbable World Series crown. 256. 256. Here we are. Workman on Doolittle. So far, no. Sack on Bregman. He's not. That is going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. Sean Doolittle has flash, so 2 becomes a 1, putting Bregman on at first base for Carlos Correa off of the men on base chart. This is not good. We go to the men on base chart with a 56. Patient draws the walk. Correa's not patient. Therefore, it will be a contact result. And I usually roll the red die for my contact chart results. It's a 2. Sack on Correa. Nope. Oh, man, the string of scoreless innings is going to be broken here as the Astros gain another run as we head to the stretch here at Nats Park. Time is running out for the Nationals to hopefully get something going here as it's now Astros 5, Nationals nothing. 355. 355. 355. Here we are. Star on Greinke. He is a star. Therefore, it's going to be a no runs result of a 5 dot. And that is going to seal up the deal for the first 7 innings of play. Your score is still remains Astros 5 and the Nationals nothing. 346. 346. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, Doolittle is considered fresh for the remainder of the contest as he is the bullpen hero arm for the Nationals. Hero on Gurriel. He is a full hero, so therefore it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Yuli Gurriel is a semi-stoic runner. The decider die says yes, he is. That is going to place the runners on at first and second. They already have the lead, so it's only fair that we place the runners on at first and second there as we head to the men on base chart for Robinson Chirinos. Oh, we got a 12. Slugger hits home run. Oh man, Chirinos is a slugger. Therefore, the Astros are going to pile on some more runs as they now lead it 8-0. And this is really unfair for the Nationals right now. Oh, geez. As we now head back on the main chart for Josh Reddick with the bases empty with a 36. Active batter gets runners advance 2 bases single plus a stolen base. Josh Reddick is not an active runner, so therefore it will be a contact result. And the red die comes back out once more. It's a 3. Sad Sacker utility on Reddick. No, that is going to be the 9th run of the game for the Astros. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. The Nationals are looking to find some answers here against Zach Greinke, who so far is pitching a gem here so far in Game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind. 136. Ace on Greinke. So far, he's pitching like one, but unfortunately, he does not have it. Hero on Turner. He is a hero. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Trey Turner is a semi active runner. The decider die says no. You can't go higher than a 6, so the bases are loaded. It's a start, as that'll bring up Adam Eaton off the men on base chart. We have a 14. Scrapper hits single. Adam Eaton is not a scrapper. That is going to be a double, a bases clearing double. The Nationals get on the whoop. The Nationals do get on the board as all 3 runs do come across to score. It's now Astros 9, Nationals 3 as we resume action on the men on base chart. Oh man, Zach Greinke is telling his manager, let me handle this. 35, control. Yes, he did let him know, and yes, he does have control. Therefore, it will end the inning with a ground out, but not before damage was done, as the Astros and Nationals oh man, as the Nationals, I should say, get a hold of 3 runs thanks to a 3 RBI double, bases clearing double, I should say, from Adam Eaton. It's now Astros 9, Nationals 3. 355. Star on Doolittle. He's not. Champ on Springer. No. It's a no runs result of a 3 blank, and that is going to send us to the bottom of the 9th. We need 6 to tie and 7 to win for the Nationals in order to salvage this final game of this episode of World Series Rewind. Can they do it? Let's go there right now, as it's Astros 9, Nationals 3. 345. Star on Greinke. He is a star. Therefore, it will be a no runs result as the Astros manager managed to keep Greinke in this one despite giving up 3 runs, as he went for the complete game as well. But in the end, the Astros are going to sweep the Nationals. The Nationals tried, but thanks to the power of the Astros, it wasn't enough here for this episode of World Series Rewind. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for Game 3's game summary presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products. As always, if you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a bitty price. It's Bitty Beer. Once again, the final score here for Game 3 of this episode of World Series Rewind. The Astros sweep the Nationals by the final score of 9-3 here in Game 3 to take this World Series Rewind episode 3 games to none. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode of World Series Rewind as we rewound the clock back to 2019 and featured the 2019 Washington Nationals and the 2019 Houston Astros on the latest installment of World Series Rewind. It seems we ran out of time for today, but never fear, let's see what's coming up next time here on the Are you joking? Is this a true matchup? Are you serious? Here's what's coming up next time on the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. And folks, why are we doing this? I don't know, but stay. I hope you manage to tune in on our next installment of Cross Era Showdown as the 2003 Detroit Tigers take on the 2025 Colorado Rockies in a battle between 119 lost teams. Can this get any worse? Tune in to find out for yourself next time here on the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour that was being played with History Maker Baseball Express. We look forward to bringing you more matchups of Rivalry Night, World Series Rewind, Cross Era Showdown, and a blast from the past as we revisit some classic and memorable games from Major League Baseball throughout the 2026 Major League Baseball regular season.